Lesson 4.2, Day 2, Writing Equations in Slope-Intercept Form. Our essential question is, how do you write an equation for a line when you know 2 points on the line? So now we're going back to our slope formula. We're going to be using our slope formula that we worked on in Chapter 3. The slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now, with our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, we don't know the slope. We know 2 points on the line. We don't know the slope and we don't know the intercept. So we don't know either of the pieces of information that we need for our slope-intercept form. So we're going to teach you how to get to that slope-intercept form equation when you're given 2 points on the line. So something a little bit different again. Okay, write an equation for the line that passes through these 2 points. The graphing method. The graphing method would be one way that you could do this. So if I graph these points, -3, 5 is right here, and then +3, 1 is right here. I could draw the line through these points and then write the equation. I have to be really careful with my line though. Try to get it as precise as possible. Okay, so it looks to me like my intercept is right here. So my intercept is 3. And it looks like my slope is going down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. So my slope is -2/3. So using that information, the equation for my line would be y equals -2/3 x plus 3. That's using the graphing method. So you graph both of the points, and then you have to look at your graph, analyze it, find the slope, and find the y-intercept. On this example, that worked out great. Now the algebra method. The algebra method. We know that our slope formula looks like this, and we know how to use our slope formula from Chapter 3. So I'm going to label my x and y coordinates, first ordered pair and second ordered pair. And I'm going to plug in these values. So y2 is 1 minus y1, which is 5. x2 is 3 minus x1 is -3. So 1 minus 5 is -4. And the bottom one, this turns into a chunky plus here. So my denominator is 6. That fraction reduces to -2/3. Now, I can use my slope-intercept form like we worked on the first part of this section. And I can use either one of these points for the x and y coordinate. I am going to select the second ordered pair because both of the values are positive. So y is 1, my slope is -2/3, my x coordinate is 3, and I need to solve to figure out my intercept. So -2/3 times 3 over 1, my 3's would cross cancel each other, so multiplying those just gives me -2. I would add 2 to cancel out my -2, so 3 equals b. So there's my intercept. So I've got my slope from the slope formula, -2/3, and I've got my intercept from solving, and there's my equation. So this is the algebraic method. Now, having more than one method is always, always, always a good option. This method always works, always works. The first method, sometimes it doesn't work so well because if your intercept is not an integer number, that first method is not going to give you your intercept. So the first method, graphing, only works if you've got smaller numbers that you're working with so that your graph isn't huge, and it only works if your intercept is an integer. And your intercept doesn't have to be an integer. It could be a fraction or a decimal, okay? So the algebra method always works, the graphing method sometimes works. It's up to you if you want to try that graphing method first. I'm going to focus on the algebra method for another one. So, algebra method, we need to find our slope first. So, slope formula. Label your coordinates. X, Y, first order pair. X, Y, second order pair. And plug them in. 4 minus -4. And then 1 minus -3. Both of these turn into chunky pluses, subtracting a negative. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my slope is 2.
Ms. Dyer, please call extension 6801. Ms. Dyer, 6801.
Okay, slope-intercept form. I am going to use the second order pair again because you can use either one of these for your x and y coordinate. My y coordinate is then 4, my slope was 2, my x coordinate is 1, plus we're solving for b. 2 times 1 is 2, 4 equals 2 plus b. Subtract away the 2 to get the b by itself. My intercept is 2. So my equation has a slope of 2 and an intercept of 2. Graphing method for that one. -3, -4, +1, +4. Carefully draw your line. Looks pretty good. It looks like my intercept is right here. It's not, it doesn't look exact with my line, but we can check it out. So it looks like my intercept is 2. And let's check my slope to make sure my slope works. Because right here it looks like it's 2 over 1. But I'm going to have to backtrack and make sure that my line lines up all the way down to my other point. And it did. So my slope, it looks like my rise is 2. And my run was 1. 2 over 1 is 2. So y equals 2x plus 2. So I got the same result either way. The graphing way, if you're using that, you absolutely have to use graph paper so that you can check your slope like I did on this line to make sure that if you trace that slope all the way back to the other point, it does in fact work. It's time to write a summary. And here are your homework problems.